What if Apple finally fixes something people have been unhappy with for years? The iPhone 17 Pro might be that moment. While the phone hasn't been officially revealed yet, some early leaks and renders are already out, and they're showing a big shift in the way this iPhone looks, especially on the back. For a long time, Apple has stuck with a design that not everyone liked, that strange two-tone look where the camera area had one color and the rest of the back panel had another. It always felt like the pieces didn't really match, but now Apple seems to be going with a more unified, cleaner look. According to reports and images, the iPhone 17 Pro will have a back panel that's the same color throughout, no more contrast between the camera section and the rest of the phone. It's a small change, but it makes a big difference visually. Bloomberg's Mark Gurman also confirmed in his newsletter that the two-tone design is going away, so it looks like Apple paid attention to the complaints, or at least decided it was time for a refresh. Now let's talk about the camera system. Apple's still sticking with 3 lenses, but this time they're changing how they're placed. Instead of the familiar triangle layout in the corner, the lenses will now be lined up in a horizontal bar across the back. On the far right of this bar, there's the LED flash, and right below it sits the LiDAR scanner. This LiDAR sensor helps measure depth and makes augmented reality more accurate. If this layout looks a little strange in photos, that's nothing new. Remember when Apple added the triple camera system back on the iPhone 11 Pro? People weren't sure how to feel about it at first, but once they saw it in person, the opinions quickly changed. The same thing could happen again. What seems odd in a render might end up looking great when you actually hold the phone. Inside the iPhone 17 Pro and 17 Pro Max, Apple is bringing in the new A19 Pro chip. It's being made using TSMC's third-generation 3nm process, also known as N3P. There were rumors earlier that Apple might move to a 2nm chip this year, but due to limited supply and high production costs, that upgrade has been delayed to next year's iPhone 18 lineup, which will introduce the 820 chip. Even though it's not a 2nm chip, the A19 Pro is still an upgrade. It offers better performance and more efficient power usage than last year's chip, which means apps will run smoother and battery life could improve as well. It's not the biggest leap, but it's definitely a step forward. Another interesting addition is a new model expected to be called the iPhone 17 Air. It's rumored to be thinner and lighter. It might replace the Plus version in Apple's lineup. So overall, Apple seemed to be focusing more on design this year, aiming for a more modern and clean look across all models. If you see early leaks and weren't impressed, it's worth remembering that Apple usually refines everything by the time of the final release. The finished version will likely be more polished and better looking than the early prototypes. So now the big question, are you planning to upgrade to the iPhone 17 Pro this year? Or are you holding out for the next generation with the 2nm chips? Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more updates on the latest in tech. What happens when a phone looks amazing on the outside, but the price tag makes everyone hesitate? That's exactly what's happening with Samsung's new Galaxy S25 Edge. At first glance, it had everything people wanted: sleek design, top specs, and the promise of something fresh in a market full of boring upgrades. But now, as more details are coming out, many are wondering if this phone is really worth it. For a while now, big brands like Samsung and Apple have mostly played it safe. Each year, their phones get a bit faster, the cameras improve slightly, and the screens get brighter. But nothing has really stood out. Most of the bold changes, especially in design and camera tech, have been coming from Chinese companies like Vivo and Xiaomi. The problem is, those phones are often hard to find outside Asia. So, when Samsung teased a super thin phone, the S25 Edge, many thought was finally time for something different. The Galaxy S25 Edge was introduced as a thinner and lighter version of the regular S25 Plus. It has a 6.66-inch AMOLED screen with a refresh rate of 120 Hz, powered by the new Snapdragon 8 Elite chip. There's 12 GB of RAM and up to 512 GB of storage. The phone is made with a titanium frame. It's just 6.4 millimeters thick and weighs only 162 grams. Basically, it looked like Samsung had created a phone that was both powerful and stylish. It also packs a strong camera setup. The main camera has 200 megapixels with optical image stabilization. There's also a 12 megapixel ultra-wide camera and a 10 megapixel front-facing camera. The battery is smaller though, at 3,900 mAh and supports 25-watt charging. That's less battery than the S25 Plus, but many users were willing to accept that trade-off in exchange for the lighter, slimmer body. Everything sounded good until the price leaked. In countries like Italy, the 256GB version is showing up at around 1,360 euros, which converts to about 1,100 US dollars. That's around $100 more than the S25 Plus. even though the Edge has a smaller battery and one less camera. And suddenly, the excitement started to fade. People expected something priced reasonably, especially since the thinner body means a few compromises. But Samsung seems to be betting that thinness alone is worth the extra money. That's where the real problem starts. Most users are happy to pay more for useful upgrades, better battery life, extra cameras, or new features. But paying more for a phone that actually has less in some areas doesn't sit well with most buyers. On the other side, Apple might be making a smarter move. Their upcoming iPhone 17 Air is expected to cost around $900. It won't have all the bells and whistles of the Pro Max, but it might include features like a 120Hz display and a new battery design that lasts longer and charges faster. Apple seems to understand that for a thin phone to succeed, it needs to be affordable enough to make sense. There's also the bigger picture. Tech companies are facing rising costs around the world due to tariffs and supply chain issues, so pricing matters more than ever. Right now, Apple seems to have the better plan, cutting down on features a little but keeping the price at a point where buyers still feel like they're getting value. It's clear the Galaxy S25 Edge isn't a bad phone. It has a lot going for it. Sharp display, powerful processor, premium materials, and solid cameras. But none of that matters if the price pushes people away. It's not just about making a good phone, it's about making one that feels like a good deal. Samsung still has time to adjust the price before launch. If they don't, they risk turning the S25 Edge into an example of how even a great-looking device can fall short if it feels overpriced. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more updates on the latest smartphones of the microSD card slot. This means storage expansion is no longer an option and users must rely solely on the built-in storage. The Galaxy A36 and A56 come in two options: 128 gigabytes and 256 gigabytes. While this may be enough for many people, those who store a lot of media might find it limiting. Samsung does offer the Galaxy A26, which still includes a microSD card slot and supports up to 2 TB of expandable storage, making it a viable alternative for users who prioritize storage flexibility. On the software front, these new devices launch with Android 15 and Samsung's latest One UI 7.0. This version introduces new features such as the Now bar, customizable quick panel, a vertical app drawer, and an improved camera interface. Another notable addition is Google's Circle to Search feature, which is part of the broader Galaxy AI experience. Users can also take advantage of intelligent tools like Object Eraser, though it's unclear if they function as seamlessly as they do on Samsung's flagship models. Samsung has also committed to long-term software support for these devices. The Galaxy A36, A56, and A26 will receive 6 years of Android One UI and security updates, ensuring they remain secure and up to date for an extended period. For those opting for the Enterprise Edition of the Galaxy A56, the update cycle is extended to 7 years. Another anticipated software improvement is seamless updates, allowing the installation of new software versions in the background without interrupting daily use. Overall, the Galaxy A36 and A56 deliver a strong mix of advanced features and a few compromises. The upgraded cameras, improved video recording capabilities, and long-term software support make them solid choices in the mid-range market. However, the removal of the microSD card slot might be a downside for users who require additional storage. Despite this, these phones bring powerful hardware, enhanced user experience, and competitive camera features, making them worthy options for those looking for a reliable and future-proof device. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.